It's Nelson Lee with an update on Tropical Storm Debby, soon to be Hurricane Debby, and I need to disregard the banner down here. I didn't update the banner, but you can see the information there on the right side of your screen. Right now, let's see if it's updated here at the bottom. No, the Hurricane Center hadn't even updated there, but I'll get you the current information here. Debby is sitting right now at 11 o'clock in the morning. Winds are 55 knots or 65 miles an hour. Central pressure is dropping pretty rapidly down to 992 millibars, moving off towards the north-northwest at 13 miles an hour, located at 27.0 north, 84.3 west. And if we look at the track, we can see that the tropical storm force winds are getting closer to Tampa. And you can see the track there. The turn towards the north is going to start fairly soon and head in towards Appalachia Bay. Luckily, there's not a whole lot of infrastructure up there as far as winds that we need to be worried about. And if we zoom in, let me zoom in here. You can see where the hurricane watches, the hurricane warnings are. Not a whole lot really located up here, but let me go ahead and get into the discussion here. Hopefully you guys can maybe read that on the screen. Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate that Debby continues to intensify over the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Satellite imagery shows that the cloud cover is becoming better organized, and we talked about that yesterday in the update, that it really wasn't very well organized, but it definitely is getting better organized now. And you can see that heavy rainfall is really the concern. And if you look at the forecast for what they're going for a 90 mile an hour tropical storm. That's a high-end category 1 on the Saffir-Simpson scale. And then it'll move inland there. So again, the key takeaway here about Debby is going to be the extremely heavy rainfall. That's really what we've got to worry about, especially as we get over towards Savannah and Charleston. They're now going for 20 inches in this area. And as Debby starts to stall out, and as we go back and look at the track, we can see what they're calling for Debby to do. It's really slowed down over the next several days and kind of meander about and just take her own sweet time. Now, one of the problems that's going to happen here is we get this heavy rainfall, and as Debby really slows down, you're going to have a lot of onshore winds, a lot of onshore flow. We have a lot of rivers in this area coming down through Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. And with this onshore flow, it's not going to really allow for these rivers to drain. You're going to have these winds pushing up against the draining rivers, and it's really going to stop these rivers and kind of plug them up. And so you're going to have all this freshwater flooding. You're going to have a higher tide because of the onshore flow, and that's just going to create, that's just a recipe for disaster along the coast of Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. So if you're in these areas, especially along the rivers of South Carolina, especially between Savannah and Charleston, you really need to start taking some precautions here. Taking a look at the peak storm surge forecast, they're now calling for 6 to 10 foot there along Appalachia Bay at and to the right of the path of the storm. And then now we have an at least 70% chance of flash flood risk over the next 5 days between Savannah, Charleston, and then up towards Myrtle Beach. So here are the most likely arrival time of tropical storm force winds. As you can see, we already have some right along the coast here on the west coast of Florida. And then as you get up towards the Forgotten Coast and Appalachia Bay, we're looking at Sunday night and early Monday morning as Debby starts to take that northern turn and then gradually turns towards the northeast. So let's take a look at what Debby looks like right now. You can see there's a definite different look than what she looked like yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening when I did the update. A lot more symmetrical. The thunderstorms and the convection are firing right near the center, and it's just a totally different look than what we had yesterday when it was kind of a discombobulated mess. The convection was kind of scattered. There was a circulation, obviously, but it just wasn't as well organized as it is today. Take a look at the infrared. You can see we have some deep convection all around the center. It's getting what we call a central dense overcast. And as you can see, we have some good outflow. Well, there goes our satellite updating. Has some good outflow all around the system. That shows that this is going to continue to strengthen. It's taking good advantage of those very warm waters in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Now let's take a look at the radar. And you remember one of the things I said that would be a sign of the strengthening of the system would be that we would have some clearing out around the center. Yesterday, remember, we had a lot of showers right at the center, and right now we're starting to see that clearing in the center. We definitely are seeing some what we call banding right around the center, and if I would stop this, you can kind of see this curvature. And here's the center of the circulation right here, and if I just kind of put this in a backwards forwards loop, you can see it right there moving off towards the north-northwest. And if we zoom in to Tampa Bay's radar, you can get a real good look at the center of Debby right there. So taking a look at the models, we have great model agreement, bringing it into Apalachee Bay, but then everything goes haywire. After about 48 hours, there's extreme model disagreement, and there's a reason for that. But I want to show you also the super ensembles. Let me refresh this and see if we have an update. I don't think we do. No, we do not. You can see that the models are really in good agreement, and that's shown by these oranges and reds. Real good agreement until you get at about the 48-hour point, and then it's like a shotgun. It scatters. And that is because of the setup that's happening with the models. We have the 12Z GFS is out right now, and it goes out to about that 48-hour point. And you can see what's happening. We have a trough of low pressure to the north, and it's going to create a break in the ridge, and it's going to bypass Debby and kind of leave her hanging. And now she's kind of caught between two ridges and a building ridge to the north. And anytime that happens, these systems will just meander. Those of you who are in southeast Texas remember well in 2017, Hurricane Harvey. That's exactly what happened with Hurricane Harvey. The only difference here is that this is not nearly as strong as Hurricane Harvey, and so it's not nearly as well formed, and it won't have as much rainfall impact, although there's a potential that it's going to be close. And by close, I mean there's going to be some areas that will see a close amount. Upwards, as you will see on this map here, upwards of 20-25 inches, where in places like Harvey you got 40 to 50 inches. So some places are going to see Harvey rainfalls of 20 to 25 inches, but obviously not near as bad as Harvey, but on the same par as some of the tropical systems that we did have in southeast Texas, where like an Allison dropped in 2001, dropped 20 to 30 inches in some spots. So this is a familiar setup when these tropical systems get dropped off by a passing trough of low pressure to the north. They get stuck between ridges and they meander about. The problem here, again, is you're going to have this onshore flow of the winds that are going to be blocking the rivers from draining, and it's going to be constantly pushing the water back up into the rivers and not allowing them to drain for several days. So that's it for this update on Debby, and I will be definitely updating this in the upcoming days and as the unfolding situation of flooding occurs in Georgia and the Carolinas. Until next time, may God richly bless you.